estate brokerage. I have All-Star Property Management. We manage over 400 houses right now, all over the Metroplex. I have WCP funding. We do transactional funding, one-day money for double closes, and hard money loans. And we are investor deals. We're wholesale deals. So we are the gamut of everything. I've been doing this 37 years. I used to have a big real estate investment club, DFW Rain, and this is my passion, this is my life, this is all I do. And so that's what I do. So, and I've been asked to do the panel today because I used to do a speech all the time on the state of the marketplace and telling people what was going on in the marketplace. We all know the marketplace right now is not investor friendly. We are not in an investor aggressive market. We are in a marketplace that is aggressive and very strong in the retail market with all these jobs that were opened up. Our governor in the past did a great job going out to California and selling Texas on California people. I went to a big mastermind 2 summers ago with a colleague of mine. We flew out there and we were invited, and they were all like, "Oh, we love your governor. It's great that I thought they was going to strangle us. I'm so glad he had everybody move out there. Our highways are less, our things are less, and we have all these houses now for sale that all these Chinese buyers are coming in and buying them and leaving them vacant, and I'm having the easiest property management, and it's really great, you know." So it was, you know, total different. I was just like shocked. I thought they were all ready to lynch us. I was having butterflies in my stomach ready to go to this thing, and it was all great, you know. But that's what's happened here. For homeowners, it's a great market, okay? And you hear all this on the news about the marketplace and everything else like that. So we have to shift our mind thought, shift our thinking, find new things, look at different ideas and everything. And we're going to go up and down the panel. We're going to talk about what is one thing that will help you achieve success in this marketplace. I, for one, the one thing that makes me have an advantage of everything is I am quick on the trigger. I am ready and able to pull the trigger. I'm ready and able to run out and look at a house. To work with me, you have to be able, A, available to look at a house. You must be available. B, you must be the buyer. I don't need a re-wholesaler. I don't need somebody else that's trying to tie up a property to do something else. You must be the buyer. L, you must have your lending in place, so you've got that lined up. And E, you have to have your education in place. You have to understand the process and everything. If you're not any of those, or 1 or 2 of those, we'll help you get all of those done. But we need you to be able, because that's what it's going to take to be in this marketplace. So that's my intro to this. Gayleen, what do you think? What's something that can have them?
It just ties on to what you said, is the education, because that's the part that I'm involved in, as well as Russ and as well. But to get yourself educated on your business. I work with a lot of new investors. I close a lot of deals with new investors. I advise a lot of new investors. And that's what I always suggest to them, is you've got to go out, and there's so much good education in the DFW area that's available to you, that you just have to spend the time to do it. And also at the same time, you're networking and increasing your network, which is, again, Kathy preaches, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And the more you get out there and network, the more opportunities you're going to have.
Only second to education, I say your team. And I say your team because I have not flipped 100 houses. I and my team have flipped 100 houses. You're only as good as the people around you, and a lot of people lose that by trying to get the GC that's charging the lease, that's trying to get the lender that's charging the lease. And what happens is, every time you squeeze that penny, you pay $1. Most of you, most people, most investors want the best person for the Craigslist price. And the problem is, when you get the best person and they tell you their value is better than the Craigslist price, You go find the Craigslist person, and then that Craigslist person ends up causing you to rethink your real estate investing. Get you a good team, pay for your team. You pay your people well, your people will take you any and everywhere that you want to be.
And I agree with that. The thing is it doesn't matter how much it costs, it's how much you make off of it, right? So you can't really worry too much about what it's costing you. If the number's right, do the deal. Education is key. Not more, but as important is marketing. Learn how to market. Become a master marketer. If you want to find properties in this market right now, you've got to reach out and talk to people that aren't being talked to. And that's a challenge, but that's a challenge you have to accept, and that's a challenge that you have to strive for. So education and investing, learn the business, learn the due diligence, learn the exit strategies, but then learn how to go out and find these houses. They're out there. You just got to hunt for them.
Mine's not going to be all that fun. Mine's NBO. It's numbers and back office. I'm a living testament that a lot of the times what you'll see is the tip of the iceberg with what we do. But most of the time I'm alone. It's a lonely business out here sometimes. Even though they say a team, their team, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, you're not talking to them a whole lot. So know your numbers. And I think a lot of people I run into are somewhat hesitant because I don't know the numbers. Right? How many times have you heard that? I don't know how to rehab. Really, you're telling me, you know what it costs, right? Because you're not physically swinging a hammer. So I would say your numbers, get really good at doing it. Math is repetition. And so just like when you went to school, no difference. So the numbers are important, but your back office. Because like Kathy said, you have to be ready. But what does that really mean? So when I see people that are soft money lenders in here, I like those shirts, by the way. Definitely shout out. But if you're not ready, it doesn't matter. But a lot of times it's back office, right? So if you go to get it, right, unless you have a lot of cash up front, even people that you're going to borrow money from want to know that you are savvy enough to actually operate a business. So I would say the non-sexy stuff you focus on. 2. So that's what I would say. That's will stand the test of time. Numbers and your back office. You don't want to do that last because that's they're gonna ask you first.
I'm going to jump in there. Know your numbers. Know apples to apples on your comps. Okay? I get all these wholesale deals sent to me, believe me. And they want that house to be worth $180,000. Okay? So bad. So they're going over here to get it, and over here to get it, and over here, and crossing a major highway to get that 180 value when they're passing by the 137 and the 142 right there within a block or two of the house, of their subject house. So know your values. Practice. Do a CMA on there's many services out there that you can get CMAs. You can do that. And we're not talking Zillow or Redfin. We're talking get actual MLS data and practice on your house, your grandmother's house, every house you know. Just pick houses and practice doing CMAs. The other thing is on Saturday night, every Saturday night, if you want to be a wholesaler or a rehabber or any of this, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's on Saturday night. Why? Because nobody goes and gets their stuff on Saturday night. They're there on Friday night to get their projects for the weekend. Saturday night, it's a ghost town in there. Go on Saturday night, and all the Home Depot people or the Lowe's people in there, they don't want to stock. They will talk to you. Go to the lighting department and ask them, which ceiling fan is the easiest one? Which one you have no returns on? Which one do you do? Go to the paint department the next Saturday and ask them, what colors are popular? What's this? What's going on there? Go to the flooring and tile department. Ask them which ones they get returns on or what they don't. And these guys will give you a wealth of information. They love to talk to you and stuff like that. They don't want to do their stocking work. They don't want to do that work. And so they want to stay overtime and get more pay. But they're there to help you Okay, so and Saturday night is the very best time to go because nobody else is in the store and they don't bother you. Okay, so those are 2 ways for you to get knowledge to know numbers. Okay.
A team obviously to me is the most important part. Since I'm here on the construction side, I want to tell you a little bit about how you can build your team on the construction. You essentially have 2 ways you can do it. You can GC it yourself, or you can hire a GC. Okay? It will cost you a crazy amount more money to rehab your house wrong than if you rehab it right the first time.
Amen.
Every investor that is up here can tell you hands down, I hired Chuck in the truck, or I hired Handy Dandy, and he was out there sweeping in a circle for days and days and days, and I was paying him every single Friday $1,000, and I have a really clean floor. Okay? You all think that I'm kidding, but we see this happen all the time. So that's one thing. You still looking for him? Yeah, he took your check. So knowing who you hire, if you're hiring a contractor, make sure you get good references. Don't get references from the brother, the mother. Who cares? How many people your mom's gonna say something good about you? Some of you not, but most of your mom's gonna say something good about you, right? Yeah. Most people have good referrals, but make sure that those people have actually done business with your contractor. Go and walk jobs that they're currently in that are comparable. In my opinion, in this market, there's 3 separate types of levels of owner finance. We got make-readies, like the owner finance and the rent-ready stuff. You got a mid-grade, what we're going to see in most of our flips, 200,000, 250 and under. And then you have like a higher end flip where you're putting like quartz and blowing up walls and hardwood floors and custom like that. Don't hire a contractor that does rent-ready, make-ready stuff when you have a $700,000 house. And vice versa, don't hire your high-end contractor to go in and deal with the termites, bees, and fleas. Okay, some contractors can handle all of that, but you will lose your shorts if you. Here's my best piece of advice for you: when you're running your rehab, if you're not satisfied and you don't know what you're getting as far as on your bid, line item by line item by line item by line item. And if you are confused, do not pay your contractor a dime until you have clarified what you're getting, because this is what contractors will do. They will write a bid, kitchen, $5,000. And you don't know if you're getting appliances. You don't know if you're getting new countertops. You don't know if you're getting granite. Okay? I one time ran a job where it said kitchen, $5,000 in this example, and then it said granite, and for granite, the price said Julio. And Julio was the granite guy, and I didn't know that the price of granite wasn't included in my full kitchen remodel. So line itemize it out. If you are confused about what you're getting, don't pay your contractor a dime. And don't pay your contractor if you're not satisfied with the work, because that's what's going to cost you more money. If your contractor says I'm done, go and verify or have somebody verify that the project is done. If it is indeed done, then you pay them. Don't pay them at all, even if they're begging and pleading you, if you're not satisfied with the quality of the work. If you do, you will pay somebody else to come back and redo that, and it will cost you 2 or 3 times more than if you would have just done it in the first place.
I want to start the next question at this end. I'm just saying, a lot of what I have to say is probably repetitive. For me, it's education and numbers. And as a loan servicer, we see new investors coming through. We had one that came in Friday who did a rent mortgage, and she will be paying $141.36 a month for the pleasure of selling the house to someone because she didn't structure her note correctly. And that's all that you can learn from going to your REI groups and getting some education. And if you have a problem running numbers, I'm really good at numbers. I have a degree in numbers, mathematics, but I service loans. So if you need someone to help you look at numbers and figure out if you're going to make a profit and how much it is, we're here to help you. Everyone wants everyone to succeed. But to me, the biggest thing is probably comes down to numbers and education.
Numbers, knowing your value, being able, having your education, and your team in place, your go-to people, such as your title company, your lenders, everything else. So that's kind of what we got out of this session of questions on this one. So our next topic is, where am I going to buy? Where am I going to find a deal? We have deals in dollars downstairs, and most of the deals, as what they were going through, we had probably about 30 deals down there rotating on the screens. And where are they? As I was noticing, they are all in the outlying areas. You know, probably the closest one we had was Mesquite and North Richland Hills. So they are starting to span out more and more. So my question to the panel is, how far would you go for a deal? What would be the pros and cons of going outlying? Are you going as far south as Corsicana? Because I'm seeing deals as far there as Athens. Now Gladewater, Tyler, going all the way up to Sherman Denison, going all the way to Decatur, Wichita Falls on that side, and Weatherford to the south side, Cleburne, Weatherford, Stephenville on the south side, southwest. So people are spreading out in all those areas. Would you go to these areas to do deals?
Well, I'm probably the least knowledgeable on that topic, but I can tell you from the deals that I am seeing come through my office. Like I said, I primarily work with investors and close with investors. Is of course Garland and Mesquite are still. I see a lot of deals at Garland and Mesquite, but I also see a lot of deals like Kathy was just saying, up north, Weatherford, Corsicana, yes, even Waco, Nacogdoches, just all around. There's really no right. Tyler, I've got several clients that do business in Tyler. They were shocked that I could close their deal in Tyler, which I could, but anyway, so they're really, it's right, you're correct, it's all over out in the outlying areas.
Roman. Is Roman here?
He left.
Hey Ron, can I get your guys to go do a deal for me in Killeen tomorrow? Like, could you start Monday?
No.
Then I'm not doing that deal. I got a deal, had a deal come in. I could buy a 26 unit apartment complex for $195. The rehab was, I think, $125, and it was worth, from every BPO and appraisal, $800, $850. I called, I begged Ron, I begged Roman, I told him I'd give him $30,000 more, $50,000 more. I had 150, I think I had like $100K more than what the purchase or rehab would be. And they told me, Adonis, we cannot swing it. I walked. Because if my GC won't go there, I'm on the phone with a GC in Killeen. Hey, I got 125K that I've never met, just random one-off referral. What do you guys think would have happened to that? No relationship, no backstory, no one to vouch for that person. Even the person that would, I would have just found someone. I don't do business in Killeen. I would have found someone, they would have referred me over, and I have no idea the credibility of that GC. That GC could have cleaned me out. So, to answer your question, Kathy, if my GC won't go there, I won't go there.
So that's your threshold.
And next time you get a deal like that, will you call me, please?
Is that a Boutros deal?
What?
Is it a Boutros?
No, I don't know how the guy found me. So like, I'm on his district. I don't know, but it was
And I have to echo off what Adonis says. It really depends on your comfort level, right? It depends on where you have teams built. If you're going to go out 100 miles, 80 miles, 50 miles, someplace that you can't drive to in 30, 45 minutes, where you're going to wind up spending a day going out to look at one property, it can be costly as far as cost of opportunity, right? Because your best time spent is looking for deals and money. And letting someone else take care of all the other parts of the investment. But you want to be able to stay on top of it. So it really depends on the team you have set up, what your boots on the ground looks like in that area. If you've got a stretch, then you can go out there. I could have helped you with that deal. I've got a team down in that area. It all depends on what you have, right? It doesn't matter what I have if you're not talking to me. He didn't talk to me, so it doesn't matter. It all depends on what he has, right? And he didn't have anything in that area, so it didn't make sense to him to invest in that area. And so that's the thing that you got to think about. And if you want to go in the market, go learn about that market. Go find the ins and outs. Know what those neighborhoods are. Know where the price points are. Know what the finish level is. build a team of contractors there that you can depend on, that you can vet out, that you can work with, and get some people that can back you up, that maybe you can bring in as a partner on that particular deal, so they have a stake in the positive outcome of that deal, right? Because when you do that, now all of a sudden you've got someone in that town that's going to say, okay, I want this to happen because I want to make money on this deal, and if it doesn't happen, I won't make money on this deal. And oh, by the way, I want to do this again and again and again, right? So team. And of course, market.
I'm in this business to have fun. I don't know about you. But if we set this up the right way, then that's why I'm still here, right? Because who doesn't want to have fun? That's why most of us leave our day jobs, right? So if it doesn't touch me personally, typically if it doesn't touch the Metroplex, I don't buy it because I'm a big buy and holder. But I would say, to echo what you're saying, if I were going to do that, like several of my students, like Wanda, you guys will know, she's buying in Wichita Falls. That's something that she likes to do, right? And that's the thing. So she's joint venturing with another one of my students that's in Wichita Falls. And they're working out a system where they're both benefiting. But I don't know about you, at 3 o'clock, it's probably like that now, barely in Dallas, we're in Arlington. But at 3:30 during the weekday, when you try to get across the Metroplex, and I'm talking about driving across the Metroplex. How do y'all feel? Right? So we're talking about driving to Sherman, right? Possibly Burleson, Denison, right? So I mean, you have to add that element onto what you're doing.
You go on Friday night, then you go to casino.
Right? You can do that, right? But I mean, it just adds another element to what you're already dealing with. So again, it is about your team, but again, like they were saying, this is your goal, and it's a personal thing. If you're going to flip a property there, that's much different, right? Possibly, than if you're looking and you're trying to build a portfolio. So, I mean, it just depends on what your strategy is. But for me personally, I think there's enough gold here still, right? So a lot of people will ask me, well, I'm just going to go in the outlying areas. Okay, see ya. I want to play in the NFL. That's what I call Dallas, right? I want to play in the NFL. I don't want to go back to college, right? So that's what I say. That's my analogy. I think right now, this is the NFL. I think we have more opportunity here now than ever. Why? Because of the techniques. So if you have been in all these classes we're telling you about, what you worried about? It's the salmon run, right? Yeah, I told you I always use these animal analogies. It's time to eat now, right? So if you were a buyer and holder, right? If you were a buyer and holder when we met 10 years ago, when you were buying houses at $60,000 a pop, when we met, it's a pretty good day. But it's still a good day, right? So that's what I'm saying. Don't listen to everyone, right? We were spoiled, but at the same time, you still can be. Because we just got deals, right? If you learn the subject to technique, right. Pick one up, right? We're going to close. We're going to close it. Got that for $0. I didn't know anything about this 9 years ago when I was at Remax. I would have tried to list it. Everyone's laughing. I would have tried to list the thing, right? So the thing is that just learning the techniques. But I would say from a distance standpoint, be careful on how far you go because it can be a challenge.
So for me, if I don't know where the city is, I don't like to go there. So if you came to me, you do a rehab here, and I don't know on the map where that is, I'm probably going to be like, probably not. I can tell you war stories, how I have gone there. I currently own a house in Clifton, Texas. I can't sell it for 39 G's. I can't sell it for. There you go. She said, "Where is Clifton?" Point taken. I can't rehab it. The market's a lot more atrocious than what I thought that it is. I made some mistakes as far as buying a bigger house outside of a rural community. That, in my opinion, is a no-no. A lot of times the rents in those communities are $500-600, and so people can't even afford to heat and cool a 2,500 or 2,700 square foot house. Make sense? So for me, if my team will go there, then I will go there. And as a general contractor, we get a lot of people saying, will you go here, will you go here, will you go to Tyler, will you go to Denison, will you go to Weatherford? And normally I say, you know, where's Tyler, where's Weatherford? But then once I figure out where it is, and then I come back and say, okay, well, that's not too far. How do we get to manage a team out in Weatherford? How do I get to manage a team in Denison? Like, we're trying to go a little bit further north than what we do right now. And my biggest variable was like, how am I going to get labor and material to that spot? Like, it's one thing to say I'm a GC. I can run DFW like no one's business, but put me in Tampa, Florida, and I'm going to break because I have no vendors there. I have no contacts. I have nobody that I can call on at the last minute and say, hey, the sprinkle head in the front yard is spraying water all over the place. It looks amazing, but I don't have any contacts to do that. So I'm going to tell you a story about how I started in owner financing. I just decided one day I'm going to do owner financing. The market's tough or tight. I'm going to decide how to owner finance houses. I do not recommend this. I'm probably the worst investor in the room when it comes to investment advice. Okay, I make money I buy houses with the philosophy, can I break even, not to make the profit, and it's the worst philosophy in the world. Okay, I bought 10 houses. Try to figure out how to finance it. It took me 8 months. I lost money on 4. Okay, I lost money on 4 of my 10 houses, but I knew going into it that I had an education cost on how to start to own finance houses. Does that make sense? I highly don't recommend that you go into it with that investment attitude. I'm a seasoned investor and I'm a grown man. I can figure out if I lose $1 or $2. I'll figure it out. I'm young, I can rebound, right? I just don't recommend that for everybody. If you don't know where it is, I don't recommend going there. If your team's not willing to go there, I don't recommend going there. Try to build a team and then buy 1. Don't buy 10, because that was really dumb on my account, right? I'm not saying, I'm just telling you. Buy 1 and then see if you can do it, knowing that 1 might be really miserable for you for 6 months or a year, and you might have to tap into your piggy bank if you do something that you're not accustomed to where you can't manage it.
You know, another thing to consider too is, you know, I always ask myself, like, a lot of people just look at the raw dollars. All right, well, if I get out here, I can get that 70% deal, but a lot of times people don't factor in not just stuff like gas, that's semantics. How much is your time worth? That hour commute there, that hour commute back. That's 2 hours out of a single day that you could be doing something a little bit more focused on that 10-minute commute. So that 2 hours that you're putting out there, and if you're having a party back there, those 2 hours that you're putting into just that driving and sitting, imagine how much more useful you can apply that time if you were to take a moment and really buckle down and look for something that's only 10 minutes away. So now, for any of you who tried to do, let me check on my project once every 2 weeks, and I go check it out, I'm gonna tell you, make sure you have the best of the best, and the GC is someone you go to Sunday dinner with every other week, because the first time I've had GCs I worked with 10 projects over them. When they found out that I was out of town, they would call me, get a draw. I come back in, I've paid them 3 weeks of draws on 1 week of work. And this is a GC I've done 10 transactions with, who has another project on the other side of town, because for no more reason, he got tight for money. Wasn't a bad person, he got tight, and because I wasn't able to physically be there when he was requesting draws, I'm like, I don't really want to make that drive, I don't want to fly back out there, I'm gonna just pay him. That 2 hour drive will really have you questioning how often you go to your project. So I always ask myself, how much more productive could I be in front of my computer or in a house 10 minutes away versus 2 hours round trip once a week? So make sure that's factored in when you're considering these 1 to 2 hour type of transactions for that 70%. Because you may find that after you quantify your hours out, your gas miles out, and the emotional exhaustion of it, you get to the point where it's like, man, I would have just paid that 75 and got it over with.
From the loan servicing side, and personally, about 10 years ago, I had a solid rule that I didn't go south of 30 or west of 75, and it had to be within 5 miles of the freeway, but we all know that market changed. So that's not a rule anymore. The last property I bought was actually down in Balch Springs, but the property before that I bought was in Red Oaks because it was a great deal and somebody called me on it. And I bought it, and then I owner financed it, and I kept thinking about, if something went wrong, I'm not driving that far. I don't want to go down there. And I know it's not that far, but I live over in Rockwall, and we spend most of our time where I just didn't want to go that far. I have too many kids and I want to drive, so I sold the note. But servicing notes, we're seeing them coming from more outlying areas. A ton of down in Waxahachie, Weatherford, Denison, Gainesville. A couple places I've looked up on the map. I looked up Anna the other day just to see where notes are coming in. Yeah, it was north. A lot out in Wiley, and we're still seeing a ton in Garland and Mesquite, Balch Springs. Seagoville's picked up, and we're seeing Greenville. Had one come in Cooper, which is out east also. But we're seeing them coming farther out. People are getting their better deals farther out than they used to.
All right. Here's my philosophy. Have car can travel, have computer can search. I'm licensed in the state of Texas. I go everywhere. I have done deals in Houston, Nacogdoches, all over the place, okay? I don't care where the deal is. There are investors everywhere that you can partner up with, like you said. You can find boots on ground places. You can find, competent management companies elsewhere. It's harder and harder to find deals, but y'all are all talking 70%, 75%. I'm a 65-60 girl. So I'm looking, I can't deal with this. Yeah, I've bought all my Fair Park houses and didn't pay over $12,001 for them. So, I am a different mindset than everybody, so I'm having to go out farther and find deals that make sense, and I'm a big affordable housing type person too, and affordable housing is not in the Metroplex as much anymore. People cannot find a place to live. There are the companies like Toyota, Liberty Mutual, etc. are giving commuter allowance for people to live up in the Sherman-Denison area, up in that far quarter. They're giving them money, extra pay to commute in. So, because they know that these workers that are working as auxiliary services for their buildings, such as people that work in housekeeping, work in their cafeterias, work in stuff like that, are not going to travel from the southern sector all the way up there because it's an hour and a half commute, while it's not that far of a commute from up there because they don't have the traffic against them, okay? And even though it may be a little bit more gas or anything, it's easier for people to live north and come south than people to live south and go north, okay? So we're finding that big companies are doing that, and our rentals in that area that I help manage portfolios of and I'm partnered in on, that we're seeing those kind of applications coming in that I only earn this much, but I'm getting $200 more to help commute to help offset that from our employees, so that's added income. So, it's just a little bit different picture, and so I look at it a little bit different than these guys. So we all have our different focus on it. So this is the next part of the question. Where are you still finding deals that are good, solid deals in the Metroplex? We're going to start over here with you this time.
Still down in Balch Springs, East Dallas, down in Masters and Lake June. I'm still finding some down there.
Okay.
And we picked one up that it was at 65 and rehabbed it for 12 and sold it for 105. And that's
So she's talking about southeast Dallas County. Okay?
I literally am buying everywhere in the Metroplex. There's 9 million people that live here. You don't need to buy that many houses to survive. We go from, right now I currently own houses, Weatherford to Balch Springs, North Dallas, and Clifton, wherever that is. So
You haven't been there yet?
I almost missed the whole city when I drove. Literally, we're buying houses everywhere right now. There's, I can just go through my board. I have a ton in Dallas. I have a ton in Mesquite. I have North Dallas. I have Richland Hills, Fort Worth. Everywhere. There's deals in every single neighborhood. I would say go knock on 500 doors. If you don't come away with a deal, you didn't knock on doors. That's what I would tell you. But most people won't take the energy to go knock on 100 or 50 doors, let alone 500.
Yeah, I think we have group think, because all of us like houses. We assume that our communities do as well. And so what happens is we think, oh, there's no deals. A lot of you know I'm in Arlington still, so we market heavily there, but all over the Metroplex. I echo that. We have a program in our group called Work for Investor where we actually hire canvassers to distribute flyers and put them on front doors. And actually, I'm working on 2 flips right now, right off of Redbird and 67. That's a really hot area. I was able to get that one for $50,000. Anybody in that area, right?
Good deal.
Because it was someone inherited it and they did not want it, right? So we marketed to it. And if you drive around, you'll see, a lot of people do drive for dollars, right? It was vacant, right? But no one approached her. And she got that flyer. So I think if you just go and go back to the fundamentals. And I know a lot of times we get on and talk about social media and all that, right? But back in the day when you actually had to eat the apple theory, right? You start one block, get to the other end and take a bite, you go back and forth, right? I think we have to start doing some of that again, and you'll still get them. But I think that they're all in the hot areas. Like I said, it's a gold mine. One thing I also do, since we do new construction now, is anytime I see new construction properties in an area that's established, guess what? We start marketing there. Because some of the people that are there don't want to deal with the new, the Yankees, right? The people coming in, it's changing our neighborhood. We're moving. Well, really? See you later, right? So look for new construction. I'm giving my head, right? Look for new construction and start marketing.
Exactly. Back to the basics. It may not be like all these young people don't understand even what back to the basics are. Knock on doors. Here, Jody. Make phone calls. Nobody wants to talk to anybody anymore. We want to text. We want to Facebook Messenger. I just did a transaction that I have never talked to the guy. He would not give me his email, would not give me his phone number. We Facebook Messengered the whole time. I met him on Facebook and we did the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, freaking out. I just don't like that, but that's what it was. People, and I adapt to whatever method of communications they want. I'll adapt to it, okay? I'll roll with the flow. But I think if you have that personal touch again, nobody contacted that lady because she inherited that house. Why? She's not on Facebook. She's not on Instagram. She's not on Twitter. She's not on all that stuff. She wanted somebody to walk up, shake her hand, and say, how can I help you with this property? And, what can we do to get you cash in your pocket and move you on from the situation that you're in? What did I just say? It was all about her. It wasn't anything about me. What's it going to do for me? Yeah, it's going to put cash in my pocket. Yes, I'm going to have a house, whatever else like that. But it was not, it was all about her. So that's back to the basics that it needs. Okay? Yep.
All right, so as a general contractor, we're doing about 30 remodels a month in DFW. Think about that. One general contractor doing 30 remodels a month. How many GCs do you see out there? How many guys in trucks and vans do you see hauling their ladders around with their little logo on their truck, right? I'm one company doing 30. There's probably 10,000 contractors, if not more, in the Metroplex. So deals are out there. Every single person here is doing deals, and I think every single person here is doing multiple deals. So don't think for a second that you can't go find a deal. If you can't find a deal, it's because you need to freshen up on how to go find a deal, not because they're not available. And there's so many available, you can never buy them all. And there's so much money available, you can never have enough money to buy them all. I guarantee you. But you have to have that mindset.
I got a question for the crowd. With that said, just for a moment, just forget what Ron just said. How many of you believe that there just there aren't deals out there? Like right now, the market is tough. You can be honest. Market's not tough. You guys are just sweeping and cleaning house.
I
want to be on every.
I do think it's a tough market. It's a
So
tough market.
only 2 of us in this room think the market is tough.
No, there is both. It's
It is tough. All right. Okay.
What, right now?
So, how many of you have actually done door knocking?
You've never knocked a door.
Like you've walked the neighborhood, you've just knocked on doors. They open up and say, "Would you like to sell your house?" Or any variation of that. Have done it. Are you guys buying? Are you buying from wholesalers as well? Who here is buying from wholesalers?
Oh, we do.
Right. So everyone that has and has not raised their hand, consider this. You just heard people say that they're knocking on doors, they're doing mailers, they're doing calls, all of this good stuff. But for everyone who said that, man, the market is tough, but you get deals from wholesalers at 75%, there's no way for me to make money in this. Consider the wholesaler. How many hours to get that $2,000 that you're trying to tell me to shave down $1,000 so you can make an extra $1,000 in my 20 hours to get me this $2,000. You're now in a negotiation for the things that I've done that you don't want to. So you bring gifts for everyone?
What's up?
You got gifts for everyone?
I will, if I have to. As long as they got gifts for me.
Oh my God, I'll call you later.
So what I would say is that I think that everyone has kind of proven the point that I'm about to make, that you have to pick and choose your battle. If you want to spend the countless hours and energy knocking on doors, then be prepared to go all the way. Otherwise, if you want to have someone else do that, be prepared to pay them. Because I hear all the time, like, man, this wholesaler is making $6,000 for this house, but we all agree the market is tough. How long do you think it took him to get that one deal? And no one ever really factors in that wholesaler may just be trying to pay himself back for his time and marketing costs, right?
Exactly.
And consider that half of the stuff that you won't, you're